Good morning, everybody. I'm working very hard to finish my presentation and my questions for world experts on constitutionalism, specifically Africa and India and gaining their independence, any of the Commonwealth countries that did that. And I'm going to get to do that today. So it's really important, but just giving that time for people to log on, and we're going to have a talk here about Donald Trump. What is official as of 7 o'clock this morning and was finalized yesterday by the Supreme Court. Hi, Doug. I see people are coming on. So, everybody, Donald Trump is finished. He's reached the end of his challenges, and it is clear now the Supreme Court, highest Supreme Court in the United States of America. We're not talking Supreme Courts of states. We're talking the absolute Supreme Court in the USA. And as I've said, and I'm sorry everybody, I know I'm not a lawyer, but I study this stuff. I've been with some of the greatest experts in the United States of America for sure, and including one of the Supreme Court justices. I was in a forum several weeks ago with one of those. I'm not going to state which one that is, but and he's Republican, by the way. So this is where we're at. We've hit that load limit. Next week, the Electoral College will go ahead, regardless of what challenges are. And no, the United States Supreme Court is not going to step in and undo the college electorate. They would be insane to try that. It wouldn't matter Republican or Democrat. And just so you all know, Republicans are absolute constitutionalists. Absolutely. There was no way you were going to get a Superior Court judge or Supreme Court judge to ever go against a state nullifying their votes. We see it here this morning clearly. Everybody touting that some Kraken's going to be released. Your Kraken has been cracked and destroyed. Another one of those fake bombs, propagandist bombs put into a narrative to absolutely destroy any dissension. And you know what? It really moves mainstream away. I love and respect Donald Trump. I think he's the greatest. I tagged him and his son in this post going forward. I think it's time, he's done everything he could, and kudos to him for doing that. I'm very sorry that the propagandists were able to throw in their nuclear bombs on you. We're experiencing that here in Alberta and all kinds of regions right across the world, fighting a lot of narratives. It's very, very hard to keep out the crazy. It absolutely ruins everything. So everybody knows watching, Donald Trump really was trying to prolong time to make sure that narratives went forward, that yes, people are going to analyze long after this election. And let's hope states really put protections in place going forward. But absolutely, the Supreme Court is not going to decertify any states going forward. It's not going to happen. The votes are going to go through. The historic college electorate in precedent law is going to vote. Every state's going to get their say. Regardless of the disputes, they're all going to be nullified. We saw this in precedent with George Bush Jr. just years ago, and that, I believe, was Florida, and we saw the precedent set there. The Supreme Court was not going to remove the Electoral College, was not going to take a state and decertify all its votes over any issues, not for the majority. It's never going to happen. We're a democracy. The U.S. is a very, very strong democracy. Whether there's problems inside that, it's not enough to usurp everybody's right to vote. And unfortunately, the majority is going to go forward. For all those watching, it's official this morning. The Supreme Court ruled in literally just one sentence, and that is safe harbor. Safe harbor stands. And for any of you who don't know what that means, it means regardless of all challenges, on the 14th, the college electorate for every state will go forward. They just ratified it for Pennsylvania, and you will see over the course of this week to the 14th, the Supreme Court of the United States of America will enforce safe harbor. Republican or Democrat, justice alike. Sorry, I've said this from the beginning. My heart sank and fell the morning after the election, and everyone knows my election party didn't go so shit hot either. I ended up in a violent conflict. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's time to move on and accept the reality that come January 20th, Joe Biden is going to be absolutely president of the United States. Likely now by the 15th, Donald Trump's going to have to step back. He'll still do his social media and everything else, but I don't see Donald Trump, unless he absolutely wants to destroy all credibility of himself with the Republican Party, destroy chances senators have coming up in January to secure a Senate majority. He's going to have to back off, especially in legal challenges. If he doesn't, it will be absolutely to Republican detriment and to his legacy going forward, and chances of him ever coming back as president are going to be really dimmed if he pursues past the 15th of December. That's reality, everybody. I mean, he has every legal right to go forward in any challenges, but the smart money is, Donald, take a step back now, come the 15th, once all Supreme Court rulings are made, and it goes as the Safe Harbor Act goes forward. That's where it's going to be, and you're not going to see any Supreme Court rule against it. It's not in precedent, and it's not going to be in anything going forward. It's just not the reality of rule of law for the United States of America. People have to accept this. This is reality this morning. It's what it is in one sentence. And anyone with any kind of legal background or study in law, never mind a lawyer or a justice, any person who understands law knows it is absolutely over as of this morning. It will be by the end of the week. Donald Trump is not going to be 2020. He's not going forward. It's going to be Joe Biden. And it's time people start accepting that. This is law. This is rule of law. You should be happy in the consolation that at least the system goes with the majority in a democratic process. However you feel about how that was conducted by each and every individual state, it's not our right to decide for each individual state. And there are many reasons why having state power like that is very important outside of this election and going forward in all kinds of manners of rule of law. And if you usurp that, you're basically destroying the democratic institution that makes the United States of America one of the greatest countries in the world. And you should be envious of how states have this authority. Outside of how you feel about the election, they have tremendous powers of autonomy that nobody else has in a lot of countries. And we saw that today. And the Supreme Court is not going to usurp their strongest rights of democracy. That's reality. As of this morning, Donald Trump is not going to ever be president. He's not going to overturn this election at any level. That's reality. And anyone saying that some Kraken or some other mythical thing is going to come forward is just lying to you, just dropping one of those bullshit bombs in the middle of something that was trying to be changed, trying to be done, or trying to awaken in the masses, and it's only going to make it worse. That's reality. Thanks, everybody. I have lots more to do. I'm going to do an interview with Callie Temple and Amber Pagnotta. We're going to do that. We're going to do that live here in the next couple days. I'm going to make time for that. I'm absolutely going to do it. And, look forward to that. Sorry, everybody. It hurts me too, but I would never want to see a democratic institution ever eroded compared to Canada, where we're watching all our democratic institutions eroded. So The consolation prize is America works just fine in rule of law, and that's my consolation that at least the states have their sovereign power. And there's a whole pile of reasons I could go through why that's more important than even this election. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Sorry, it pains me too. I love Donald Trump. I will always support him. I just hope he does the right thing going forward by December 15th when he's absolutely shut down in all his challenges, that he doesn't continue to go forward, because it will destroy the Republican Party. It will destroy Senate chances coming up in January, which could ultimately turn Senate over to the Democrats. And that's the worst thing we want to see, okay? The absolute worst thing. Thanks. Goodbye. Have a great day. Gonna go do my forum here starting shortly in the next hour and a bit. Bye now.